So hello everyone, welcome back, and this is the class in which we are going to discuss about something new, right? So first things first, you have started your agency, right? And then you have also hired some of the best team, you have built everything and all of this stuff is just done. Now we are going to discuss about the next big thing, which is how do you scale your agency?
My name is Tharun. Video editing has changed my life, and it can change yours too. You know, Tharun speaks quality, quantity.
So hello everyone, welcome back, and as you might have already known, we are in class number 41, right? 40 classes done. I mean more than 40 classes done because we also have like the live classes going on. So this class is very important for every single person who actually wants to scale their own agency, right? Wants to get into this, thing called agency owner and all of this stuff, right? What are the service that you might be providing, right? So let's get started. Let's get started with one of the most basic thing, right? What is an agency? You basically provide services. What does it mean? It means agency is a service-based company, right? Basically, there are two types of companies as you might have already known. I'll try to keep this class as short as possible, as crisp as possible, with all the information necessary for you, to get started with, the scaling agency wala stuff. But I'll also try to keep it like short, right? That is the goal for today's session. So first things first, coming back to the basics, agency is a service-based thing, which means, dividing it into two parts. First thing, product-based industries, and we have service-based industries, right? Service-based industries, these might not necessarily need their own product. For example, think of just close your eyes and imagine that you're using a soap, right? Or you're eating something. All these things, these are products, which means these companies which provide these goods, these are product-based companies, right? A product can be a physical product, or the product can be anything. It can even be a software, right? All of those things, these come under the product-based companies. But here, what are we doing? In the agency, we are basically giving video editing services, if you exactly consider this particular course, right? Which means this is a service-based company. So there are pros and cons when it comes to service-based and also product-based things. For example, product-based companies, these don't have a lot of operational load, right? A very lean team would be able to pull it off. But when it comes to service-based industries, these actually need a lot of people, because here you are providing services to clients, right? So what happens? You need a lot of people to work with, or sometimes you can reduce the number of people by using some kind of softwares, right? But at the end of the day, you need people here. You need more people here, right? When it comes to product-based companies, which is also a good thing for, if you're a college student, a lot of mass recruiters in your colleges, right? These will be from service-based companies. Product-based companies, it's kind of, these people hire people in a very, very, very lean fashion that you can compare when compared to the service-based industries. So what happens is that it's kind of more difficult if you want to scale your service-based company, right? This is just for people who don't even know the basic stuff. So if you're someone who is in that category, I'm just repeating all of this, but if you already know about what service-based is, what product-based is, all of these things, you already know about it, we'll move on fast, don't worry. So yeah, so what the problem is that with service-based companies, it's kind of difficult to scale, because with more the number of people there are more operational challenges, right? With more number of people, more number of mistakes, more number of operational heavy stuff, which means it kind of becomes very hectic to scale it after a point of time, right? But with the right strategy, with the right systems built, with the right choices that you make, and with the right plan that you have, you can scale your agency, which is even a service-based. Imagine you're a freelancer right now who is earning something around 5,000 rupees to 10,000 rupees to 15,000 rupees to 20,000, whatever it is. You can scale your agency without any problem. Like, I'm just talking about video editing agency in this point, particular, video or like the class. But yeah, you can easily scale your video editing agency very easily without any operational load. I mean, there would be load, but comparatively very less. from 5,000 to 10,000 rupees in revenue a month to easily 10 lakh rupees to 20 lakh rupees, right? This is easily manageable. Got it? इसके बाद if you want to still grow your agency, scale it more, at that point of time it kind of gets difficult, but you can do it. How? We need all of those things, right? We'll actually talk about, how do we scale your agency in a proper roadmap wala manner, right? Till now it was just basics. Now this is the point when we are going to talk about the actual plan, right? Got it? So let's get started. So how do we scale our agency? I'll actually break it down into very, 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 very simple part, very in a very easy manner that even a 5-year-old student can understand, right? That's my goal for this session. I'm not going to use a lot of complex words, complex terms, because I do understand most of you who are watching this class would be students, right? So when I was a first year student or when I was a class 12 student, I didn't know shit about anything, right? I didn't know what is business. I didn't know what is agency. I didn't know what is product based industry. I didn't know what is a service based company and all of this. I didn't know all of those things. So for you, especially for you, I'll not use any complex words. I'll try to use very simple term which you can understand even if you're a complete student who doesn't know anything about business, right? That's the goal. Got it? So now let's talk about how do we scale our agency. So basically there are two ways. How many ways? Two ways. First one is you can diversify the services. For example, listen to this properly. Imagine you're a video editing agency, right? At that point of time, you can start, you're just providing video editing, correct? For maybe YouTube videos, right? At this point of time, you can diversify the skills that you're providing. For example, you can then get into graphic design, right? You need to build a team for that. You get into graphic design and then you get into, script writing and all of this. We'll exactly talk about how do you diversify this thing. But yeah, just stick with this. First thing, you need to diversify your services so that you can target more number of clients in more number of industries, right? Or in more number of things, whatever it is. So you can diversify the services and you can build a horizontal team. For example, video editing ka either, then you have design ka either, then you have script writing ka here, then you have some other thing ka here. So you can basically build a horizontal skills wala agency, right? You can diversify the agency in a horizontal manner. Now, if you can do it horizontally, what does it mean? You can also do it vertically. You can get deeper into a specific service and get into more quality wala things. For example, imagine you're just providing video editing, right? But that's for YouTube, right? Now you can get deeper into it. You can basically get into more animations wala stuff. You can more get into, handwritten or whatever it is. You just try to get deeper into the skill. You don't just, for example, video editing will be required by different type of clients, right? Some people make YouTube videos. Some people make really animated educational videos. Some people make Netflix style documentaries. Some people just make YouTube shorts, right? So there are different types of video editing that you can do for the clients, right? Which means YouTubers के लिए video editing, people who build courses उसके लिए video editing, and then people who make films or these kind of stuff उनके लिए. So basically you try to get deeper with the same skill, and in this way you will try to address different types of communities, right? So basically, again, simplifying it for you, you can basically build a team horizontally or you can build a team vertically, right? And what is the best way? None of these. What is the best way? None of these two. Then what is the best way? Basically, the best way is like a hybrid of these two things, right? So what do? I'll tell you a very simple example. So just considering you're a student. So that's why I'll take an example, physics wala, right? This is not actually a service business, whatever it is. Don't care about it. But how do you know physics wala, right? Physics wala, PW, has its major grip in NEET and IIT, right? This is its major grip, right? Once it has stabilized into IIT and NEET, what did it do? Then it started expanding, to the courses which are required by the same students. For example, IIT and then boards, right? And NEET and then some other kind of exams over there, right? It went a bit deeper, it stabilized its base, and then what did it do? It went into new markets, it went into CA, it went into IAS, it went into this, that, right? So what did it do? It went a level deeper vertically, right? Serving the same customer base, it stabilized its core, and then it started expanding horizontally, right? And that's the exact strategy that what we are going to follow while scaling our agency as well. Got it? I hope that this was like a very, very, very simple example, right? So this is the game plan, right? The first one is you build your core, right? For example, imagine your service, like you're just providing video editing, right? You try to expand in terms of video editing into different domains or different category of people who require your video editing. Got it? For example, initially you're just doing YouTube videos, and then you get into Instagram reels and all of those things, and then you get into films wala stuff, and then you get into wedding wala stuff. So basically you get a bit deeper. You don't need to do all of these things, I'm telling you. So possibly how to properly strategize is that you don't actually get into weddings and all, because the photography, all of those things, this is an entirely different thing, right? You probably should not concentrate on this. So who are your core audience here? Your core audience are creators, right? So once you try to get, you do a basic, very, very, very basic customer research, right? Client research, customer research, whatever it is. And then you try to understand, right? What are the other types of, skills, or what are the other types of services do your clients need? This is the basic thing that you follow. For example, once you get a bit deeper into the core skill, what you do is you try to expand, right? What do? You try to expand. And how do you expand? You do it through customer research, right? You try to get in touch with, core is done, right? You try to get in touch with your customers, and then you try to understand what are the other types of services necessary for your clients. For example, imagine your core, customer segment are YouTube creators. So what are the other things which are like necessary for a creator? They might need content strategy, they might need scripting, they might need design, they might need thumbnails. So basically what you do is, once you get a bit deeper, right, into video editing, and you expand your team vertically, one step or two steps, right? You build a very, very, very core strong core team. Then you try to do a customer research, and then you try to identify what are the other services necessary for your clients, right? That's the starting point of you to expand your agency in a horizontal way. The first step is vertical, in which you try to get into more types of video editing. Once you finish that, and once you stabilize that process, then you do a customer research, and then you try to find out what are the other services necessary for your clients, and then you try to build a separate team for other skills. For example, scripting के लिए other team, for example content research के लिए team, for example design के लिए one more team, right? These are horizontal skills, these are horizontal services that you can serve to the same type of customers, same, you can say, the clientele, right? So that's it. The game plan is simpler. First, start with video editing. You try to expand your team into multiple formats of video editing. You stabilize that, and then you do a customer research to identify what are the other skills necessary for other services necessary for your clients, and then you try to build small teams for scripting, or maybe content strategy, or maybe design, right? So what is happening here? Very simple thing. So what you have done is you built video editing ke liye this thing, right? Now what you have done, you kind of expanded it, right? And you went into multiple formats of video editing, right? Then you do a small customer research. And then you try to identify what are the other skills necessary for your creators, right? Or for your clients, right? I'm just taking an example for video editing here, but it can be any other skill. right? And then you get into the other skills, scripting, content research, and so basically you build a small team for this, right? Basically build a small team for this, right? You basically build a small team for this, right? So initially you were just 3 people here, and then you expanded it into more number of people, right, for the same skill, right? And then what you have done, you appointed a manager to manage, you trained the manager to basically run the core for you, right? And then you started experimenting with the other services, right? And one thing which is very 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 necessary over here, one thing you have to identify over here is that when you're trying to expand, it's very easy for you to get carried away, right? Because you appointed a manager to run your core, right? Core is not being directly managed by you because you have been focusing on expanding into other dimensions of the skills, right? At this point of time, what happens is that the core might suffer if the manager who is managing the core business is not, capable, for is like kind of new to the market, or is kind of new to this business style. So what you have to do is like 45% of the effort initially has to get into the building your core. Then next times, like the next 45% should go into the expansion, but you should always try to have some 10% of your attention and efforts into what, into basically keeping an eye on the core, right? Basically, whenever you feel that the core business is suffering, core offering of your agency is suffering, you need to take a step back and come back to your core business. Put this in the side gig, the expanded horizontal things in the side gig. You should come back to your core business, set it up properly, and then again get into the expanding wala mode, right? I'm trying to do it as simple as possible, but yeah, I'll try to sum it up. I mean, I already did. But yeah, so basically what I'm trying to tell is, when you are trying to expand into horizontal services, your core business might suffer, right? At that point of time, whatever the fuck you're building, stop that for a while, right? Have like a manager for that. Let it be in autopilot for some time. Set your core business first, because you have been known in the market for your core business, not for the small gigs aside. So if your core business is suffering, then at the exact time, you shouldn't waste any more time. You should come back and set the core business first, and then get into expanding wala mode, right? So it'll be a hustle over here to go between the core business and then expansion, core business and then expansion, core business and then expansion. It'll be a little bit of hustle over there. But yeah, if you can do this juggling between your core business wala stuff and horizontal things wala stuff, you can just go here, come back here, go here, focus on this whenever this is affecting, right? It's simple thing, right? For example, imagine, let's again get back to the physics wala ka example, right? Imagine while physics wala was expanding, right, into other domains, for example CA, IS and all of this thing, but physics wala is actually known for NEET and IIT, right? So imagine physics wala actually focused more on these things and kind of left this IIT and NEET on a side track for a while. What happens? Physics wala will be down, right? Because you should always know what your core offering is, and you should always focus on your core offering, right? Don't let the shine go. All right, that's the point which I wanted to highlight, right? Rest of it is just easy things here, like trying to find a manager to run and all of the stuff. These are kind of easy, but how do we expand? What is the roadmap to expand? This is the thing that you have to get. I've explained the entire example using physics wala and video editing services into picture, but whatever the service that you are providing, these are the things that you have. This is the exact roadmap that you should follow, right? Get a step deeper, stabilize the core, autopilot, put it on autopilot, then try to expand, by doing a customer research into other horizontal skills. Start one, do it good, start the next one, do it good, start the next one, do it good. So at this point of time, what happens? You have a core offering, and then you also have side gigs offering, right? So that's how you try to scale this entire thing. And I'm telling you, it'll be very tricky, because while you're trying to expand, the core might be suffering. So this is what you have to focus on. You should rapidly take decisions. You should be like, okay, fuck it. Even if the new skill which I've started is affecting, it's okay. I'll just shut it down and let me actually focus on my core, right? But yeah, this will actually take a couple of times. People say to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. But yeah, if you do it a couple of times, you actually understand where you are messing up, and then you can actually pick the mistake that you're doing, right? Okay, I think I've talked a lot. I didn't want to talk a lot, but yeah, just happened. So again, moving forward, there are 3 things that you should consider while you're trying to scale your agency. What are they? The first one is operational efficiency should be at the peak, right? You, like your agency or whatever it is, it entirely depends upon how efficiently do you operate, right? Because if you don't actually focus, you should actually fix this while you're fixing your core business itself. Because if you don't do that and then you try to expand into other things, it will be very, very, very difficult. It will actually, everything will fail. This will fail, this will fail, this will fail. And by the time you come back to your core, even this will fail. So operational efficiency is one thing that you definitely have to focus upon. Got it? And the second thing is customer feedback is, like, people say the customer is a king, right? And it's more true when it comes to the agency or stuff, because one bad project to the one client can have like a word of mouth so bad that it'll take you so much time to recover from it, right? So customer feedback, try to get in touch with them, try to talk to them on a regular basis, try to understand what are the problems that they're facing, try to fix it as soon as possible. Because in a service based industry when you have like a lot of clients, this is very, 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 very important. Got it? Try to talk to your customers, right? Try to talk to your clients. And then next thing which most of the people don't focus upon is they'll be like, okay, yaar, I hired someone, let him do his work, right? That's one way to look at it. But there's always a scope for improvement, right? What is a team? What is an agency? It's basically built with team members, right? If individual players are good and if they can collaborate good, that's it. You will be the king, right? So what is more important here? You should train your team in regular intervals, right? Try to have some training sessions with them. Try to get some experienced people to train them in some random stuff. Give them access to some courses that they can do in their free time, right? Also talk to your team how they are feeling working in the agency, in the culture and all of those things, because these things become very, very important. The culture that you actually present. Like, why does someone work in a company? Simple. They need money, right? Or they are learning something, right? Or they are building connections, right? These are the 3 things. They either need money, or they're learning something really good, or they're building connections, right? Give your team all these 3, like give them the money, right? Because even if you're not profitable in the beginning, it's okay. Give them the learning, right? Have training sessions for them, invite more people and all of this stuff. And then connections, like try to invite some industry leaders and all of this stuff, so that these people get empowered by looking at them, right? So these 3 things become very, very, very important while you are trying to scale your agency, right? So again, coming back, building a strong team is 50% of the work. Setting right expectations from the client and the team is 20% of the work. Creating systems and processes is the other 30% of the work. This is a quotation by Tharun 2024. So yeah, these are some things that you have to take care. In this class, we have discussed about an example of physics wala of how they set their core business up and then they expanded horizontally, right? In a similar way, how can you use a similar strategy to grow your agency, right? By fixing your core first, strengthening it, automating it, then doing a customer research, trying to identify what are the horizontal skills that like services that you need to give to them, then build smaller teams for them, right? That is a roadmap. We have discussed about the roadmap. We have discussed about a couple of examples. We have discussed about what is the difference between service-based industry and product-based industry. And then we have discussed about what are the 3 major important things that you should focus on while you're trying to grow your agency, with a final quotation of building a strong team, setting the right expectations both from the clients and also from the team, and creating systems and processes, right? If you can do these things in the exact same order that I've mentioned, that's it. No one can stop you from growing your agency. Got it? So I tried to put this class as short as possible, but I know it again took 25 minutes. But yeah, again, I tried to compile almost like a 2 hour ka session with a lot of complex words. I've tried to, break down all the complex words. I just used very, very, very simple terminology in this session, because if I start using complex terms, most of you who are watching this, who are students, you would be like, yeah, kya hai ye? I don't want to listen to this. So I tried to make this session as relatable as possible. So, and also I'm not gonna particularly discuss about the financial aspects, because you have a lot of things. Like, once you start making more amount of money, then you have to register the company, you have to pay taxes, you have to take care of all the taxes of these things will be managed once you actually start making money, right? Because at that point of time you can get a CA, and the CA will do all the work for you, right? Like, right from registering the company, the taxes, filling the taxes, all of those things, the CA will take care. You don't need to worry much about it. That comes later. The first thing that you have to do is actually build, right? By using the exact things that we have been mentioning right now, right? So with that being said, the session on scaling your agency is done, and in the next one we are going to actually discuss about how do we set it free. For example, even in this session I was mentioning one thing about you build your core, and then you automate it, and then you try to expand, right? So how do you automate it? How do you set it free? And that's the class for the next one, right? I'll see you in the next class. Bye bye. Love you so much. Bye.